There's a business addiction so powerful, it's wiped out over $1 trillion in value. CEOs know it's killing them, but they can't stop. And many of the biggest corporate disasters in history all have the same fatal flaw. In this video, I'll reveal what it is, the 3 warning signs it's happening right now in companies you might own stock in, and the exact framework to spot these disasters before they happen. And it all started when one company laughed at a $50 million offer, now worth over $500 billion. Welcome to The Wealth Project, where ambition meets opportunity and your journey to wealth and luxury living truly begins. Here, we deconstruct the playbooks of the world's most successful so you can transform your future. If you're ready to elevate your life, subscribe, follow, and ring the bell so you never miss a masterclass. Welcome to the exclusive club where you don't just watch, you learn to win. Your next lesson starts now. This isn't just a big company problem. It's the reason 90% of Fortune 500 companies from the year 2000 are gone or irrelevant. And it's quietly hurting investors, business owners, and even you. By the end of this video, you'll have a 3-step system to spot it early before it wipes you out. This isn't just a business lesson, it's a survival guide for the modern economy. If you're fascinated by the patterns that build and destroy empires, you'll want to stay plugged into this. Think of subscribing not as clicking a button, but as joining a private briefing where we dissect the moves no one else sees coming. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, and you'll always be one step ahead of the market. The empire at its peak. But before we dive into their fatal addiction, you need to understand just how powerful Blockbuster really was, because their dominance makes their collapse even more shocking. Why this matters to you? Because understanding Blockbuster's peak shows you how even the most successful companies can fall when they ignore customer needs for short-term profits. Picture this. It's 1999. Blockbuster is the undisputed king of home entertainment. 9,000 stores across the globe. That's more locations than McDonald's had at the time. Revenue of $4.5 billion. The blue and yellow logo was as recognizable as the golden arches. But here's what made Blockbuster truly powerful. They controlled Hollywood itself. When Blockbuster decided to stock a movie, it became a hit. When they didn't, it died in obscurity. Studios would literally change their release strategies based on what Blockbuster wanted. They were the gatekeepers of entertainment, and they knew it. But here's what most people don't know about Blockbuster's success. Their real money wasn't coming from renting movies. It was coming from something their customers absolutely hated, and this hatred would eventually destroy them. The addiction revealed. Why this matters to you? Because businesses can become addicted to revenue streams that hurt their customers, and why you should avoid investing in companies that do this. So what was it? Late fees. These 2 words made customers' blood boil, but they made Blockbuster executives smile. In the year 2000, Blockbuster made $800 million from late fees alone. Let that sink in. That's 16% of their entire revenue from punishing their own customers. Here's a real story that happened thousands of times. Sarah, a working mom in Phoenix, rents The Lion King for her kids on a Friday night. Life gets busy, soccer practice, grocery shopping, family dinner. She forgets to return it until Tuesday. The late fee? $12. More than double what she paid to rent the movie in the first place. But here's the kicker. Late fees were almost pure profit. No inventory costs, no manufacturing, no shipping. Just money extracted from frustrated customers who returned movies a day late. Wall Street loved it. Investors loved it. The executives got bonuses based on it. And that addiction was about to be tested by a man who had experienced that frustration firsthand. What happened next would expose just how deep their addiction really went. The fateful meeting. Why this matters to you? Because arrogance and short-term thinking can blind you to life-changing opportunities. September 2000, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph fly from California to Dallas. Netflix had maybe 100,000 subscribers and was bleeding money, losing millions every quarter. They were desperate. The offer was simple. Netflix would sell their entire company to Blockbuster for $50 million. Netflix would handle Blockbuster's online operations, while Blockbuster promoted the service in their stores. It was a perfect partnership. Blockbuster's massive reach combined with Netflix's digital innovation. John Antioco, Blockbuster's CEO, sat at the head of the table. Around him, his executives, the same men who had built a $4 billion empire. They listened politely as Hastings explained Netflix's vision: no late fees, no driving to stores, unlimited rentals by mail. Then came the moment that changed everything. Antioco and his team struggled not to laugh. They saw Netflix as a tiny niche business serving movie nerds who didn't mind waiting for DVDs in the mail. But the real reason they rejected the deal? Netflix's business model eliminated late fees entirely. To Blockbuster's leadership, a business without late fees wasn't just unprofitable, it was impossible. But that rejection set in motion two completely different philosophies about how to treat customers, and the data from what happened next will shock you. The divergence. Why this matters to you? Because this shows you the power of customer-focused business models versus extraction-based models. While Blockbuster continued milking customers for late fees, Netflix focused on eliminating every source of customer friction. No late fees, no driving to stores, no limited inventory, no "sorry, we're out of that movie." Every decision Netflix made asked one question: how can we make this easier for our customers? Every decision Blockbuster made asked, how can we protect our late fee revenue? The results were devastating. From 2000 to 2010, as Blockbuster's late fee revenue stayed stubbornly high, their market value plummeted from $5 billion towards zero. Meanwhile, Netflix's subscriber base exploded from 100,000 to over 20 million. Here's the data that tells the real story. In 2004, Netflix had 1 million subscribers. By 2006, it was 6 million. By 2010, it was 20 million. Each new subscriber was a customer fleeing from the company that punished them to the company that empowered them. Blockbuster was like a luxury cruise liner. Massive, impressive, but impossible to turn quickly. Netflix was like a speedboat, small, agile, and able to change direction instantly based on what customers wanted. But the most shocking part of this story isn't how Netflix won. It's how Blockbuster's own attempts to change proved their addiction was terminal. The failed recovery. Why this matters to you? Because this shows you why half measures and protecting old revenue streams during disruption always fail. Blockbuster wasn't completely blind. They launched Blockbuster Online in 2004, their own DVD by mail service. They started their own streaming service in 2008. They even eliminated late fees for a brief period in 2005. But every time they tried to innovate, they sabotaged themselves to protect their addiction. When they eliminated late fees, they replaced them with restocking fees, the same punishment with a different name. When they launched streaming, they made it complicated and limited to protect their physical stores. And this brings us to the most expensive lesson in business history: the true cost of that laughter in Dallas. The $500 billion mistake. Remember that $50 million offer Netflix made in 2000? The one Blockbuster laughed at in that Dallas boardroom? Here's what that laughter actually cost them. At its peak in 2004, Blockbuster's entire global empire was worth about $5 billion. Today, Netflix, the company they could have bought for $50 million, is worth over $520 billion. Blockbuster didn't just miss a $50 million opportunity. They let a $500 billion empire slip through their fingers because they couldn't imagine a world without late fees. But here's the real secret I promised you. Blockbuster's failure wasn't about technology or timing. It was about psychology. They became so addicted to short-term profits from customer pain that they couldn't see the long-term value of customer loyalty. They chose the drug of easy money over the hard work of earning customer love. The mirror. Your 3 warning signs. So how do you avoid Blockbuster's fate in your own life? Here are the 3 warning signs that could save you. Warning sign 1. You're making money from other people's pain. Customer-focused wealth always beats extraction-based wealth. Warning sign 2. You're protecting old revenue streams instead of embracing new opportunities. Kodak invented the digital camera but buried it to protect film sales. Blockbuster's executives got rich protecting yesterday's model, while Netflix's team got wealthy building tomorrow's. Warning sign 3. You're optimizing for short-term profits over long-term relationships. Whether it's with customers, employers, or investment partners, relationships built on mutual benefit always outlast relationships built on extraction. Amazon loses money on Prime shipping to build customer loyalty. Tesla reinvests profits into innovation instead of maximizing quarterly earnings. The companies and people who built lasting wealth don't ask, how can I get more from others? They ask, how can I create more value for others? That's the difference between a Blockbuster mindset and a Netflix mindset. Blockbuster's collapse wasn't a business failure. It was a psychological failure. They became so addicted to punishing their customers that they couldn't imagine a world where success came from serving them instead. You don't need to own a global empire to learn from their mistake. Every financial decision you make is a choice between the Blockbuster path, extracting value in the short term, and the Netflix path, creating value for the long term. Blockbuster isn't the only trillion-dollar giant to fall into this trap. The same pattern is quietly destroying other empires you probably use every day, and even investment strategies that look bulletproof on the surface. Luxury, freedom, and success are closer than you think. Don't just watch, take your next step. Choose your latest insights or a curated favorite, both waiting for you on your screen. This is The Wealth Project, deconstructing wealth, transforming your future. Subscribe, get the rulebook, and remember, you're now part of the exclusive club, playing to win.